各位潘铁，各位贵宾，我们就开始今天的下午的研讨会第一场。我是这个筹委会之一，那林老师是好定我共经，然后我现在这场负责主持，本来是王清源老师，因为我这位那个学者是我的师公，我想我先开始好了。那我简单的说一下我们的整个流程。好，首先呢就是待会2点到3点半呢是我的老师我的师公Langskasen 教授呢他的那个演讲稿是在这个各位手册上的第5页。那他大概就是会讲1个多小时，然后留个10到15分钟，我会再用中文做一个简单的摘要。然后呢，我们中场休息半小时。那4点开始的时候呢，我们会请这个乌戈维达长老呢来做回应。回应完之后呢，就开始开放那个自由的讨论。所以各位有问题的话，可以留到4点以后的来欢迎大家提出讨论，因为我们算是比较像内部的讨论，所以不要客气，任何阿毗达摩跟禅修的问题都可以问。那我简单的介绍一下今天的第1位主讲者，Langskasen 教授呢，他本身呢在这个原来在曼彻斯特大学退休。他是我老师的老师，现在呢，他后来就搬到牛津大学，然后担任研究员，同时呢也去教巴利文还有一些课，是他的身份呢其实是国际蛮知名的巴利学者跟阿毗达摩的学者，特别是阿毗达摩，比较少人在研究阿毗达摩。所以是非常国际上蛮知名再来呢，他本身也是一位实践者，也是有在禅修，在带领禅修。他学习的这个禅修的方法是泰国的一个某个传统的特别重视samatha的止禅的，所以他本身对止禅非常的有心得跟研究。今天特别是明天的他的演讲，他的论文会特别提到这一点，请大家特别注意这一点好，那所以待会的重点就是我们邀请他先对这个 Knowing and Seeing 这个帕奥禅师的著作呢，如实之见呢，来做一个评析所以待会你可能要想一下，就是那个如实之见特别是对英文版的，所以不是对中文版的。中文版有些地方比较简略。好 ，OK, now I would like to use English to make a very brief introduction. I will be the chair for these sessions. I would like to invite Professor Langskasen to give us the first talk, and Professor Langskasen retired quite a number of years ago at Manchester University, and then he moved to the Oxford University as a senior researcher, as well as teaching at Oxford University, particularly teaching Pali Buddhism and Pali language as well. So he is a very well-known, internationally well-known Pali and Abhidhamma scholar, particularly on the Abhidhamma studies in the Theravada Abhidhamma as well as the Northern tradition Abhidharma. So it's our great honor to invite him to come to join us. And not only as a scholar, he himself is a practitioner. So he follows a kind of tradition from Thailand, particular emphasis on the samatha meditation. So to the best of my knowledge, I think that Professor Lang's cousins is very much interested in, as well as has a lot of the background knowledge, as well as some experience, good experience on samatha meditation. You could see some of this significance, meaning, and his explanation on the second paper on tomorrow. So particularly for the speech tomorrow. The paper is also included in the manual. Oh, by the way, the first paper he's giving in a moment is on page 5. So if you could follow me on page 5. And the time schedule is something like this. We'll invite Professor Cousin to deliver his talk for about an hour and 10 minutes, and then the 15 minutes for me to summarize his main point in Chinese. And then we will have a break for 30 minutes. And after that, we have the great honor to invite the Bande Wu Govida to make a response. And followed by this, we'll have open discussion. So please be prepared and join us, engage to the discussions on these issues. Okay, now I would like to let us, with a very warm and very warm welcome to the Professor Lang's cousins. 我们以这类掌声来欢迎这个cousin教授。
Thank you, Kirtan, for the introduction and for bringing me this long way to talk to you, and for the chance to visit southern Taiwan for the first time. So that's been very nice for me. So I have been asked to review the account of talks and responses to questions given by the PAOK Sayadaw in Taiwan in the 1990s, as they are presented in the small book entitled Knowing and Seeing. I'm not quite sure why I was asked to do this. Up here.
请大家看这个哦，他已经开始在念他的稿，所以可以看荧幕或者看这个手册。
I cannot claim great familiarity with the Sayadaw's teachings. Indeed, I understand that he has written a great deal in Burmese to which I do not have access. I have only met the Sayadaw once when he gave an impressive talk at Oxford Buddha Vihara about 10 years ago. I do not practice his method of meditation, although I do practice samatha meditation in a Thai tradition. Anyway, I suppose my task today is to stimulate discussion and debate rather than to provide any kind of definite assessment. So, I'm going through each of the talks. So talk 1, you need to have 2 heads for this talk. You say you can look at me or you can look at the screen. So anyway, 2 heads would be very useful for Abhidhamma studies, so it may be good practice. So the Sayadaw begins by defining meditation as bhavana. This is very necessary because the English word meditation has a much narrower meaning than the Pali bhavana. For example, meditation in ordinary English usage would not include right action and right speech. So the Sayadaw explains that what is meant by bhavana is the development of the whole Eightfold Path. After mentioning that any of the 40 subjects can be developed to attain concentration, he gives instructions in this first talk for the development of the practice of mindfulness of breathing. Are you translating? At the end. Okay. So the method of teaching that is utilized for this is based upon the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, as expounded in the Visuddhimagga Buddhaghosa. Indeed, the Sayadaw, as presented in this booklet, follows very closely the method given by Buddhaghosa. In fact, Buddhaghosa utilizes not the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, but the Anapanasati Sutta. The latter gives the full 16 stages of breathing mindfulness. Probably, however, the Sayadaw does not refer to this because the 16 stages combine samatha and vipassana, but in his first talk he's concentrating on samatha alone. At this point, the Sayadaw gives basic instructions for meditation practice on the breath and for the development of the mental object, the nimitta. I shall pass over this as it is more appropriate for the context of a meditation retreat rather than for discussion and debate. He goes on to explain the need to balance the 5 faculties, the indriya, and the 7 enlightenment factors, the bojjhanga. This is in close accord with the corresponding section of the Visuddhimagga. After absorption of the first jhana is developed, the Sayadaw recommends that one should try to discern the heart materiality. That is not given at this point in the Visuddhimagga. It is found only later on for a meditator who wishes to use jhana to develop insight. Only after talking about this does the Sayadaw refer to discerning the 5 jhana factors. They are given in Pali and in English as application, sustainment, joy, bliss, and one-pointedness. I have some questions in regard to these translations. Certainly, it's up there. Certainly, for a simple explanation to beginning meditators, there's nothing wrong with them. And I have no problem with the last 3, although the English word bliss is a little strong. However, the question arises for me as to how far we should privilege the explanation of Buddhaghosa and the Atthakatha above the explanation of the Buddha himself. In other words, should we substitute what the commentary says for what the Buddha says? After all, if the Buddha had wanted to say what the commentary says, he could have done so. He didn't. In particular, the archaic English word sustainment is not the meaning of vichara. The root char means to wander. With the prefix vi, it means to wander in different directions. In the present context, we could explain it as exploring the object. This subtle and gentle exploration of the nimitta has the effect of sustaining the object. And that is what the commentary means to say. But when people learn Pali without learning also Sanskrit, they sometimes fail to understand the actual meaning of the Pali texts in the Tipitaka. A common error then is to take the commentary's explanation as a translation. In any case, once the heart materiality is discerned, one should go on to discern the jhana factors themselves, initially perhaps one by one and eventually all together. As I understand this, at this time you cannot perceive the jhana factors with the jhana consciousness. The jhana consciousness knows only the nimitta. So it is a question of dipping in and out. But we may experience this as occurring simultaneously, just as we normally experience seeing and hearing as occurring at the same time, even though according to Abhidhamma they occur separately. The text of knowing and seeing at this point contains an account of the operation of the consciousness process, the cittaviti in absorption. It is rather detailed, and it is not clear whether it was part of the Sayadaw's talk or has been added later. I shall pass over it. The Sayadaw then continues with an account of the development of the 5 masteries, the Vasita, and the development of the next 3 jhanas. This includes the description of the development of breathing mindfulness up to the 4th jhana. So that concludes my summary of the first talk. And the summaries have to be very brief because the text, the Sayadaw's text is very dense, and it would take much longer than the time for my talk to summarize it properly. So the second talk, how you develop absorption on other subjects. The second and third talks turn to the topic of the methods for developing absorption on others of the 38 or 40 meditation subjects, the kammatthana, things you work on. It would be possible after developing the fourth jhana in breathing mindfulness to turn immediately to the development of the insight knowledges. What the Sayadaw sets out at this point, however, is a method for developing a very full mastery of samatha meditation. Since the Buddha in the sutta spends a lot of time presenting and teaching the various kinds of samatha meditation, we can say that this approach accords well with the spirit of the Buddha's teaching as given there, and also in the Dhammasangani of the Abhidhamma Pitaka. The Sayadaw does not follow the order in which the meditation subjects are presented in the Visuddhimagga. So in this talk he talks about the method of practice of a further 15 of the kammatthana. He uses a sequence that makes progression from one to the next rather easy. We can say that this is the Paok system, although it is, of course, it is not necessarily the only way in which he teaches. It is close to, but not precisely the same as what we find in the Tipitaka and in the commentaries. Those are the 40 kammatthana on the screen. I didn't detail the recollections, Buddha Dhamma Sangha and so on. That's the order as they're given there. But Paok Sayadaw's order is set out on the slide, really, showing how he deals with each of them. So the order on the left is roughly not quite Buddhaghosa's order, but the order on the right is the order of the talks. He begins by using the clarity of mind developed in breathing mindfulness as a basis to work on body mindfulness, specifically in the form of the 32 parts of the body. The different parts are visualized and seen clearly, successively in groups, and then all of them in sequence. Then this sight is extended outwards to see the parts in other people, and eventually extending this vision to beings in all the different directions. At this point, the Sayadaw introduces the topic of the three entrances to Nibbana. In fact, in the Abhidhamma commentary, these are three ways in which meditation on the 32 parts of the body may naturally develop. The parts may be seen as repulsive, their colour may be focused on, or their emptiness may be seen. They are alternatives arising through the mental tendencies of a particular meditator. But in the thorough approach recommended in this talk, first jhana should be developed through seeing the repulsiveness of each of the parts within and without. Only after that would one turn to develop the kala kasinas. The basis for this would be meditation on the skeleton. If that is seen very clearly, then it would be easy to develop the white kasina. Sometimes people don't like the idea of meditating on the skeletons, but there's actually nothing that's more amusing than a room full of skeletons doing all sorts of ordinary activities. If you imagine that the people in this room are all skeletons sitting around with their biros and looking at their papers, looking at the screen, and doing all these strange things, it isn't quite as difficult to approach as it sometimes appears to people who are not used to the idea. So the Sayadaw does not follow the standard order of the 10 kasinas, but instead teaches first the 4 kala kasinas and only then the remaining kasinas, as you can see on the table. Starting with the kala kasinas is probably easier for someone who has previously worked on breathing mindfulness and the 32 parts of the body. The method for developing the remaining kasinas is to use a prepared object, as developed in the Visuddhimagga. The Sayadaw explains that after obtaining full mastery of the 10 kasinas, it is possible to go on to develop the four formless attainments, or immaterial jhanas, as they're called in the commentaries. This follows the pattern as presented in the Visuddhimagga. The sphere of boundless space is developed on the basis of kasina practice. But there does not seem to be any reason why it could not also be developed on the basis of breathing mindfulness directly, since that is classified in Abhidhamma as a form of wind kasina. How you develop the sublime abidings and protective meditations. In his third talk, the Sayadaw begins by explaining the method of developing the four Brahma Viharas. His approach is slightly unusual, probably because most of the descriptions of how to develop loving kindness and so on are given from the point of view of instructions for someone beginning meditation. The Sayadaw, however, addresses this practice from the standpoint of someone who's already developed fourth jhana in breathing mindfulness, or preferably white kasina. So after preliminary instructions on who one should develop loving kindness towards, and advice on the importance of establishing a strong basis of loving kindness towards oneself, he recommends using the light of the fourth jhana to see an appropriately dear person in a happy state and visualize that person sitting or standing in front of you. In fact, he talks about seeing a person with a smiling face at one point. I do not think such an instruction would work well for many beginners, but what the Sayadaw is describing is perhaps a kind of shortcut to enable those who are already experienced in breathing mindfulness and kasina practice to develop loving kindness jhana in a relatively short time. One should develop loving kindness to the third jhana towards someone you like, then successively to someone who's very dear, someone who is neutral, and finally towards someone hostile. After that, one would take up the task of breaking down the boundaries so that one has loving kindness equally towards these four. Following that, the Sayadaw describes the method of developing loving kindness given in the Patisambhidamagga. This is very detailed, with some 528 different ways of developing loving kindness. The Sayadaw does not say why such a thorough development is necessary, but does suggest that the special benefits of loving kindness practice will ensue. Instructions are then given in very similar ways for the practice of compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. In the last case, it is developed in the fourth jhana after emerging from the first three Brahma Viharas. The whole account is very sympathetic. Sorry, it is sympathetic, but it is very systematic and detailed, and follows the method of the Visuddhimagga very closely. The Sayadaw then turns more briefly to the topic of the four protective meditations listed on the screen. These are supplementary practices which are to be utilized alongside the main topic of meditation in order to protect against falling away. They are loving kindness, recollection of the Buddha, foulness meditation, and recollection of death. The first has already been described, so the Sayadaw now described the method of developing the recollection of the Buddha. This utilizes the 9 or 10 qualities attributed to the Buddha in the Itipisa formula. Most, but not all, Europeans and Americans find this difficult at first because they were not brought up in a culture where the Buddha is a figure of awe and respect. Also, they may have reacted against the devotionalism of their native religion. However, if they have some experience of samatha meditation and they persevere, they will eventually find it helpful. For the development of foulness or repulsiveness meditation, the Sayadaw again recommends using the fourth jhana, developed in breathing mindfulness or white kasina as the basis. This again I understand as a kind of shortcut. However, the instructions given by the Sayadaw will be rather difficult to implement in some cultural contexts. he recommends visualizing the foulest corpse of your own sex that you remember seeing. On a personal note, in my whole life, I have only seen one dead person, and that was for just a few minutes after death. That would not really qualify as a repulsive corpse. I do not think this would be unusual in England or North America. Normally, dead bodies are kept in a cold store until it is time for a funeral or cremation. They are made to look fairly attractive, but even the relatives may not see them nowadays. In Thailand, and I presume in Burma, there are certainly opportunities to see dead bodies, as elsewhere in South and Southeast Asia. I leave it to you to tell me about East Asia. Anyway, a slightly different approach will be needed in the Western context, at least for the time being. For the last protective meditation, recollection of death, the Sayadaw utilizes a similar method. The basis for developing it is the first jhana developed in the previous protective meditation. So there's a similar problem here, but it is less serious, since the main point of this meditation is to contemplate the certainty of death in order to arouse urgency, samveda. At this point, the Sayadaw refers to the specific benefits of each of these practices and the way in which they can be used to counteract ill will, lust, dullness, and boredom, respectively. The Sayadaw concludes this talk with a brief discussion of the relationship between samatha and vipassana. He emphasizes that it is the development of a concentrated mind that enables one to see the five aggregates as they really are. So samatha is the basis on which vipassana is developed. He also stresses the value of jhana as providing a resting place when tiredness occurs during the practice of vipassana. The answers given to questions at the end of this talk provide very detailed information on a number of topics. They include the three different kinds of nimitta, the different kinds of concentration, and the nature of bhavanga consciousness. So talk 4, how you discern materiality. Up to this point, 38 of the 40 kammatthana have been described. Well, actually my arithmetic's wrong now. Less than that, because he didn't do all the recollections. There remain only 2 that have not been addressed: determining the 4 elements and discerning nutriment. In the Paok Sayadaw's method, determining the 4 elements is used as a method of approaching vipassana. Strictly speaking, of course, determining the 4 elements is a method of samatha meditation for bringing the mind to access jhana. But it is obvious that it is also a method for leading the mind towards an exact understanding of materiality, of rupa. And so it is very appropriate as a basis for insight. The Visuddhimagga in fact suggests that a samatha meditator would normally start by discerning mentality. But when later it gives instructions for a simple vipassana, a Suddha vipassana meditator, it suggests that he would start by discerning materiality and allows this as also an option for a samatha meditator. The Sayadaw, at least in this talk, prefers to begin with materiality. And of course that must have the advantage that it is suitable for both. And someone trained in this way will be able to teach both kinds of meditation. Before commencing the instructions for discerning materiality, the Sayadaw gives an outline of the different kinds of materiality in terms of the different kinds of kalapa or grouping. This is basically an Abhidhamma analysis of materiality into the different groups that arise. In his valuable English translation of the Visuddhimagga, Venerable Nyanamoli comments that the material groups are not in the Pitakas. This is a little misleading. It is true that the word kalapa is not found in this sense in the Tipitaka. However, some of the analysis into groups utilized in the Abhidhamma commentary is already found in the Dhammasangani, and most, if not all, is probably implied in the Patana. So even if one wants to argue that it is not found word for word in the Abhidhamma Pitaka, it is certainly in the spirit of that Pitaka. However, the Abhidhamma Pitaka does not specify the duration of either rupas or chitta arisings, chittupada. After describing the main groupings of materiality, the Sayadaw goes on to explain the four ways in which materiality originates. So I wrote them up on the screen. Materiality can originate from karma, from consciousness, from temperature. I've given a more exact translation there. Utu doesn't actually mean temperature. It refers to cycles, like the seasons. But of course those are changes in the nature of the heat element. So you may come to the same thing. The editors have added a footnote saying that in the order given in the Visuddhimagga, temperature comes after nutriment. The order given here is that taught by the Sayadaw. Actually, this is a little misleading. This order is utilized in a number of ancient Abhidhamma texts. It is not the Sayadaw's invention. This is all very detailed, and I cannot list it all today. So I will go on to the following description of how to develop four elements meditation. After mentioning the briefer method of developing four elements meditation, as taught in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta and in the Visuddhimagga, he presents a more detailed method of meditation on the four elements. This is based on the Dhammasangani, and it utilizes a full set of 12 characteristics for the four elements. I have not practiced four elements meditation in the very detailed way given here, but it seems admirably set out so as to make it easy to develop it very thoroughly. Many tips are given to assist in making the characteristics clear. According to the Sayadaw, as you concentrate on the four elements in the body, it becomes like a white form and then transparent. This transparency is explained as due to the transparent matter found throughout the body. Here the Sayadaw correctly translates pasada as transparent. The common translation as sensitivity mentioned in the footnote is not strictly correct. It is an explanation of what that materiality does, i.e. it is sensitive to impact with materiality. Pasada, however, is from the root sad, to settle. It means that the mind settles down and becomes clear, is use of mind. The underlying metaphor is that of a stirred up pool which becomes clear as it settles down and stills. So pasada rupa is materiality which is clear and transparent. If the perception of the transparent form is maintained, the mind settles in access concentration. By discerning the space element in the transparent form, it is broken into small particles. The Sayadaw explains that these are the kalapas of materiality. This, he tells us, is the beginning of vipassana meditation. The kalapas must then be investigated so that one can see all the different types of materiality. The Sayadaw describes how to do this in great detail. Suffice it to say that all the different kinds of materiality of the four origins need to be discerned. It's extremely difficult to summarize this material because it amounts to drawing on almost the whole of Abhidhamma, which there's no way one can summarize. Anyway, talk 5, how you discern mentality. In the fourth talk, the Sayadaw goes on to explain how mentality is discerned. He begins by explaining that there are 52 mental factors, citasika, and 89 types of consciousness. He then distinguishes their operation into two types: the process consciousnesses and the consciousness which is apart from processes, vitimutta. The former is separated into two kinds, five-door process and mind-door process. All of this needs to be discerned, it seems, in order to develop vipassana. A detailed explanation of everything is not given. Indeed, the Sayadaw goes on to explain that mentality is discerned in 4 stages. And I put them up on the slide. The first 2 are the internal consciousnesses and then the mental phenomena in each type of consciousness. The 3rd stage is to discern the mental processes of the 6 doors. Last of all, one should discern external mentality. To do this, one should, if possible, start from the first jhana consciousness and its associated mental factors. That is because one will have already discerned the jhana factors as part of one's samatha practice. So starting from there, one extends awareness to the remaining mental phenomena one by one, and then all together, eventually to consciousness and 33 mental factors. One then discerns the different types of mentality in the jhana mind-door process. After this, one should turn to discern the types of mentality in sense-door processes. So first of all, mind-door processes, and afterwards, five-door processes. Last of all comes the discerning of external mentality. Here the Sayadaw returns first of all to discerning mentality externally, and then both externally and internally. After that, one develops the discerning of external mentality stage by stage, in the same way as for internal mentality. Similarly, both internally and externally. This completes the first insight knowledge of the definition of mentality and materiality. So the 6th talk, how you discern the links of dependent origination. At the start of this talk, the Sayadaw mentions that the Buddha taught dependent origination in 4 different ways, but he does not list these. They are given in the Visuddhimagga. Instead, he explains that in his monastery they use what they refer to as the 5th way, taught by Sariputta in the Patisambhida Magga, and only afterwards do they use what they call the first method, as taught in the Mahanidana Sutta. He sets this 5th way out as the round of defilements, consisting of ignorance, craving, and clinging. The round of karma, consisting of volitional formations and karma process existence, and the round of results, consisting of consciousness, mentality, materiality, 6 sense bases, contact, and feeling, and I've put them on the slide. In fact, arrangement of this into 3 rounds follows the commentarial explanation of this Patisambhida Magga passage, but that perhaps makes it clearer. The Sayadaw then introduces a technique for discerning the past. After first making an offering together with a resolve for a special desirable rebirth, one should sit in meditation. Working from the 4th jhana, one should discern internal and external mentality, materiality again and again. With that basis, you would turn to recollect the mentality, materiality, which occurred at the time of making the offering. When the image of yourself at that time appears, you should discern the 4 elements in that image and go on from there to discern all the different types of materiality, especially the materiality of the heart base. Then one could discern the Bhavanga consciousnesses and the mind-door processes arising in between. At this point, the mind-door processes can be discerned. It is then that the search begins to identify the round of defilement and the round of karma. The Sayadaw illustrates this by identifying the defilements round in the resolve for a particular rebirth and the round of karma in the act of making an offering. Having done this, one should gradually go back in time, at first just a little before, and then eventually right back to conception. You then go even further back to either experience mentality and materiality near death in one's previous life, or to discern the object of the final jhavana process in that life. At this point, the Sayadaw gives examples of two meditators, yogis, who were able to do this. The Sayadaw then briefly mentions how you discern further past lives or future lives. Finally, he briefly mentions the first method of discerning dependent origination. This goes through dependent origination in the order of the 12 Nidanas. At this point, the Sayadaw has completed his account of the second insight knowledge, the knowledge that comprehends conditions. Actually, this kind of method was in this particular form of trying to remember past lives by proceeding backwards, was new to me in this particular version of Pauk Sayadaw, but something that's somewhat similar is actually given in an English article published around about 1910 by Ananda Metteyya, the first English Buddhist monk, or one of the very first English Buddhist monks. So it's a little bit older than some people seem to think. So we go on to talk 7. How you develop the Vipassana knowledges to see Nibbana. This talk is the most difficult for me to summarize because I've not done much Vipassana. Anyway, I will try my best. The first part of the talk is concerned with the next 3 Vipassana knowledges. The first of these is comprehension knowledge, Samasana Jnana. The basis for this should again be the 4th jhana, or the access jhana of 4 elements meditation, according to one's prior experience. Using the light of concentration, one contemplates as impermanent suffering and no self various groupings of formations, mentality and materiality, the 5 aggregates, the 12 bases, 12-fold dependent origination, and the 18 elements. Sayadaw especially mentions the pair of mentality and materiality and dependent origination. All of these have to be developed one by one, internally and externally, on the basis of the 2 previous Vipassana knowledges. At this point, the Sayadaw indicates the higher Vipassana knowledges may develop quickly up to the attainment of Arahatship. But in case they do not, he describes a series of exercises based upon the Visuddhimagga to increase one's Vipassana. I will not outline these, but just indicate that there are 40 contemplations. He refers to them as the 40 to, from the ablative suffix in the Pali, which involve a more detailed version of impermanent suffering and no self, and then 7 ways each for materiality and mentality. In the latter case, you have to see the impermanence, etc., of the Vipassana minds themselves. So there they all are on the screen. So the Sayadaw now turns to the development of arising and perishing knowledge. Here 2 kinds of knowledge are distinguished, that according to conditions, paccaya, and that according to moments, khanna. A detailed method of developing both of these is given based upon the previously developed knowledge of mentality and materiality and of dependent origination. Arising has to be seen first, and then ceasing, and then both together. At this stage, the Sayadaw mentions the 10 imperfections of insight. These are, for the most part, positive qualities such as knowledge, joy, happiness, and mindfulness. At this stage, they can arise very strongly, and then attachment and desire may arise. This has to be overcome by seeing them as impermanent suffering and no self. Following this comes the development of dissolution knowledge. The Sayadaw again presents this as an exercise to be followed rather than as something naturally arising. Presumably, if it naturally arises, there would be no need for the exercise as such. Anyway, at this stage, you see only the dissolution of formations. Again, seeing them as impermanent suffering and no self. This applies not only to mentality and materiality, but also to the Vipassana minds themselves. So now the first 5 Vipassana knowledges have been developed, as we have up on the table. The Sayadaw then refers briefly to the next 5 knowledges, indicating that if the previous knowledges were developed thoroughly, they will develop quickly. He names them as the knowledges of fearsomeness, of danger, of disenchantment, of longing for liberation, and equanimity about formations. He does not give instructions for them due to lack of time on the account of this particular occasion. The Sayadaw then goes on to the 12th knowledge, conformity knowledge. This is concerned with the consciousness process of the path, Magga, and consists of 2 or 3 impulsion moments that occur at the time of reaching the noble path. They are followed by 1 moment of the 13th knowledge, change of lineage, and then 1 moment of the 14th path knowledge, when for the first time the mind takes the unformed as its object, and many defilements cease forever. This is followed by 2 or 3 moments of fruition knowledge which complete the 7 impulsions, the Javana moments of the path process. The last of the 16 Vipassana knowledges is reviewing knowledge, which takes place in subsequent consciousness processes. This enables one to clearly understand what one has experienced, and perhaps also what one needs to do. So, combined together, talks 8 and 9. The 2 final talks seem to have been given at the end of the meditation retreat. They do not have any questions and answers appended. The first one was given on the day of the Visakha full moon. It is a very well constructed talk that combines several themes. One aspect addresses various occurrences in the life of the Buddha, especially from the last year of his life, and the teachings he gave to encourage his disciples on how to continue their practice after his departure. A talk concerning events in the life of the Buddha is of course very appropriate for the Visakha day. But the teachings given then would also be appropriate to encourage the meditators on the retreat in their practice after the Sayadaw's departure. The Buddha's wish was for his disciples to continue their practice so that the teaching will endure and be for the benefit of the world. So this leads into an account of the Buddha's teaching based on the 7 sets of the 37 Bodhipakya Dhammas. Not only is this appropriate for Visakha Day, it also leads on very naturally from the previous talk and retreat, since it in effect describes the qualities developed to attain awakening and maintained in the awakened mind of the Aryas. The Sayadaw emphasizes that the development of these qualities requires, first of all, a basis of sila, keeping the precepts. Then both concentration and wisdom are needed, that is to say, both samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. He goes on from here to describe each of the 7 sets, relating them to the various practices and exercises taught during the course of the retreat. The talk concludes by returning to the advice given by the Buddha to his disciples 3 months before his departure. This is the occasion of the Buddha's renunciation of his lifespan, the Ayu Vasajjana. It is not much mentioned in modern accounts of the life of the Buddha in English. But in ancient times it was accounted one of the major events in the life of the Buddha, and is listed as such in many texts. The advice given is of course to encourage his followers to complete their practice. The last talk is in the form of an anumodana for the donors, organizers and helpers. In it, the Sayadaw gives a thorough survey of the different ways of contributing for the benefit of others and oneself. This is a very important part of Buddhist practice, but it is more appropriate for the conclusion of a course or conference than for the beginning. And this review is already long enough, so I will pass over it now. So, conclusion. What is very apparent from my limited knowledge of the Sayadaw's teaching are 2 things. Firstly, his approach in his writings is very traditional and strictly in accordance with the Tipitaka, the commentaries and the sub-commentaries. Secondly, he is very thorough and detailed in his presentation. he mentions in his answer to one of the questions in Knowing and Seeing that he is not fond of diagrams, and explains that this is because he has written a book with 3,600 pages in Burmese, and 1 page is not enough. I hesitate to ask anyone to translate it, but I would like very much to know more about it. But actually, yesterday Kim Tong is telling me that a draft translation has been made, so I'm now looking forward to reading it. The same thoroughness is very clear in his meditation instructions. He presents many alternative techniques for use if practice does not advance, and emphasizes developing a very thorough mastery at each stage of both samatha and vipassana meditation. This kind of patient repetition is at the heart of the Buddha's teachings, both in theory and in practice. Let me conclude by saying that I'm sure there are many people here with a much better knowledge of the teachings of the Pao Sayadaw than I. So if I have not correctly represented him in any way, please accept my apologies. I've done my best.
Thank you very much， 非常感谢那个教授的这个发表。接下来我用中文这个做简要的一个摘要因为我有把它打在电脑上，所以我先接一下电脑，顺便大家可以从文字上来看一下。本来要印给各位，不过来不及。I will do the summary in Chinese, but I need to use my computer to show the screen or show the Chinese summary on the screen.稍微调整一下这个荧幕。我看，各位看得到吗？我看一下。如果不是很清楚的话，可以用那个听的哈。那因为我那个前几天才拿到他的稿，所以我一方面要准备这个筹备，所以我没有时间完整的去做翻译，也只是利用这2天赶快简单的把它那个摘要所以我并没有完整的把它的论文翻译出来，不过就是很摘要式的。我后来发现，可能我自己的翻译也有一点错误，因为我本身没有在不断的去检验一下，所以请各位也原谅一下，如果你看到错误的话。首先呢，这个在第1页他说这个我只见过帕奥禅师1次这在10年前左右在牛津听过他精辟的演讲，然后教授本身是修那个泰国某一个圣摩他的禅修传统，所以并未修过帕奥禅师所教的方法，所以因此今天的演讲呢，主要是要激发更多的讨论而不是要提供任何所谓最后的评价。好，那针对第1讲，这个就是在如实之见里面各位如果熟悉的话，就是这个是我们熟悉的如实之见中文版就是当时在台湾的时候，边用第1讲、第2讲的方式，所以在刚刚教授的是用first talk、second talk 这样子来看 所以总共有9讲。好，那第1讲是如何修行安般念到，这个写打错了，这不是我是直接从那边 copy 出来。如果从修行安般念到什么禅？无禅。哦，就是禅那雷士哈，就这个翻译怪怪。好，那禅师呢，在这里这一讲啊，首先有特别先解释 "pavana" 这个词啊，那也强调说 "pavana" 跟8正道是相关，这个是非常非常重要，因为英文的翻译呢，meditation 啊少的没有办法完整的翻译 "pavana" 这个字呢啊，因为 meditation 这个字少了，至少是少了正语跟正业的意思。我这边插播一下，就是那个教授他会相当的关注这个英文的用词，这是我们这次可以学习到蛮多东西的。他私底下也跟我们讨论过一些，就是到底要怎么用好的英文把巴利的东西来表达，这个是很重要的。他也谈过说那个禅师，我们禅师是怎么样去用英文佛学英文来表达，这个是一个值得讨论的课题。其次就是对这些禅师的开示或者著作里面的所引用的经论的那个出处啊等等，他也是很在意。所以这2点是我们要特别注意，看他能够提供给我们什么样的一个看法。好，那禅师所教的安般念呢，主要是依据大念处经跟清净道论。可是其实呢，在觉音所使用的在清净道论里面呢，是用安般念经，就是阿那巴那三谛数，而不是大念处经。这个安般念经呢，是明天的第2讲的它的整个重点。那明天的就是针对这个主题来讲。所以在如实世界里面呢，虽然看起来是用大念处经，可是其实应该是安般念经。安般念经的有16个步骤，包含了止观的修行。可是，在这一讲呢，禅师主要是聚焦于止，也许是他不引用你，我忘记当时为什么这样要理他。那接着呢，那个禅师有强调说5根跟7觉支的平衡，这个呢部分呢也是根据清净道论的相关的章节的解释。好，再来呢就是既然谈到五坛禅支之后，就讨论禅支的一些内容跟翻译。特别是像是 Vijara 的英文呢用 sustainment， 他说这个并非 Vijara 的原意，告诉我说 sustainment 在英文里面已经几乎没有人在用了，用来翻译 Vijara 不晓得是为什么，可能是很早以前不晓得谁开始翻的。Vijara 的字根的 jar 就是去 wonder 去探索，加上那个前置词 v 呢，是 wonder in different directions， 不同的方向去探索。所以在这里的文貌五禅支的文脉当中呢，可以翻译成探索那个所缘，对所缘做探索。好，所以在对禅相的探索，这个就是因为有 sustaining 所缘的效果，就是去维持住、保持住所缘的效果。因此这个是注释书的解释的意思。那如果将注释书的解释当成翻译 ，sustainment 原来是解释，当成翻译的话呢，这是他认为的经常会犯的错误，所以他建议应该是不要用 sustainment。好，那再来就是初禅之后呢，禅师强调这个心所依处，对心所依处要去辨识出来之后呢，才是讨论到五禅支。好，那接下来是那个教授的那个评论，他说：就我所理解呢，这时候呢应该是没有办法用禅那心来察觉禅支，因为禅那心呢，它只知道禅相，所以也许这边的问题呢，不是说用什么心来观察什么，而是一个非常快速的进出切换的问题。所以在经验上呢，好像是看见听到就同时发生，可是其实是一个一个来。接着呢，书中详细的谈到禅那的心路过程。这部分呢，他说不晓得是不是后来所增加，或者是原来的开始的一部分。好，这是第一讲，对第一讲的一个 评论。好，那他有特别强调说，因为时间很短哦，所以有时候没有办法非常恰当适切的去把很详细的禅师所教导很详细的过程来做一个评论，那是一个困难。那第二讲是如何以其他法门来修定。好，本讲呢就转向其他的业处。那在安般念的4禅之后呢，本来就可以这个转向观禅的修习，修观禅。啊，禅师这里的方法呢，主要是为了对止禅得到完全的掌握。好，也就是说，本来之前第一讲的安般念4禅之后，就直接修观禅了。可是这里呢，继续修其他业处来禅那个达到禅那，这是为了对止禅完全的掌握。好，这样子的方法呢，是与佛陀的教法以及重要的论法集论呢的精神是吻合的。好，再来是讲到业处呢，就是因为有40个业处，就会有业处的顺序。那禅师不按照清净道论所列出的业处的顺序，他刚才有在荧幕上有秀出，就是清净道论的顺序跟禅师的顺序呢是不一样。所以这一讲呢，他就谈另外15个业处，他所采用的顺序呢，看起来是为了让那个修行者呢，在修下一个业处呢，会进展得更顺利。这是可能是禅师的安排，是在这里。这个是禅师所特有的一个方式，而且他有讲说，也许禅师不会只用这样子的一个方式，所以还可以有其他的变化。这样子的一个顺序呢，不是三藏或者注释书当中的次序。好，那以安般念作为身知念的基础，然后去辨识每一个身份，再拓展到十方众生的不同众生的这个身份。接着呢，禅师介绍涅槃的3门。其实呢，阿毗达摩的注释书当中呢，这个是你修32身分身知念者呢，所可能很自然就会去看到的，也就是修32身分之后呢，你就会自然去看到这3门。哪3门呢？就是把身分视为不净，色片呢要去专注到色片，或者会看到空性。我在这里呢，可能是特别为了某些特定的禅修者，就是特定禅修者可能会在心中呢，会有采取这样的选项，就是看这3门。可是这个此讲的建议呢，透过观内的身分、外的身分的不净呢，来达到初禅，再转修色片。那以白骨观，接着以白骨观作为基础，然后再修白片，这个就是比较容易。好，那因此呢，禅师并非按照10片的一个顺序，而是先修4种色片，再修其他的片处。好，对10片都能够掌握之后，接下来就可以修无色禅，如同清道论所描述的，以片处作为空无片处的一个基础。但是呢，其实然而并无任何理由说为什么不能在安般念的基础下来直接修，就是安般念之后就去修那个无色禅。好，这是教授这里的一个意见。因为呢，在阿毗达摩呢，安般禅呢可以被视为封片。这个呢是在角注的第2，也就是第8页，这个是角注第2呢。如果你看到这个法集论的注解的话呢，这个就是说安般念呢是可以有封片。好，这样呢来到第3讲，如何修示范住与示护卫禅。在这里呢，禅师介绍示范住的方法呢，有一点不太寻常。所谓不寻常的意思，就是一般教示范住呢是会针对初学者来教，所以用很初学者的方式来教。而这里呢，禅师站在已经修过安般念4禅或者白片的角度上，所以他在里面我漏掉蛮多的这个那个细节哦。重点是他建议呢，以4禅所产生的光来照见，比如说首先对你敬爱者， 他很快乐的一个影像来看到，所以用视禅的时候，观想这个敬爱者呢站在你的前面或者坐在你前面。好，那教授认为说这个方法对很多初学者可能行不通，所以在这里应该禅师呢是为了让已经修过安般念跟遍处者呢，可以能够在短时间呢很快速的就可以修习到持禅，慈悲喜舍，所以可以被视为是一种捷径 shortcut。好，接着呢就是因为修示范处呢会有先从亲爱的人、中的人，然后到讨厌的人啊，所以最后要打破界限，变成平等心。破除界限之后呢，禅师就介绍了无碍解道里面有528种遍满慈爱的方式，在如实之间的书有详细的列出来。好，那禅师并未解释说为什么这是必要的，为什么要修这528种，但是却提到说修行慈心禅的特殊利益会得到很特殊的利益呢，这个是可以被确保的。好，来到他的这个教授论文第5页。好，那在四护卫禅的佛随念当中呢，采用了一个很重要的公式，就是佛陀应该是佛10号、9号的定型公式，佛陀名号的公式。好，那他说大部分的欧洲跟北美的人呢，对这个会感到有点困难，因为佛陀的形象本身呢，并不是这些欧美人士文化教育的一环，不是在那种环境长大的，所以对他们修的话不是太容易，或者呢，这个是看起来好像是一个信仰佛陀，所以他们也会站在抗拒信仰主义的角度底下，对，有点困难。可是教授认为说，如果你有止禅的经验，就是前面所看的安般念还有其他业处，然后再进行再修这个的话呢，佛随念的话呢，你会慢慢的发现呢，它是其实有蛮大的帮助。好，再来是不净观，不净观呢也是在安般四禅或者白片的基础上来修，跟前面一样，说不定应该也是可以被视为是一种捷径。很快的去掌握这个不净观。再来对不净观的教导呢，也有文化背景上的困难。你要一位欧美的去把同性，然后看他的尸体最难看的部分，这个是有点困难。他举他个人的这个经验很少看到这个史诗。通常呢，尸体是被放在冰库，一直到火化或埋葬，更何况呢被化妆成很吸引人的样子，所以都不太像这个不净的尸体，所以不太容易去修起来。也许在东南亚比较容易见到史诗所以可是不晓得像台湾、东亚的情况。稍微提到说，那个西方可能在修不净观的时候，需要一些不同的方式。好，那使随念，接下来是使随念。使随念呢是在前一个护卫禅的初禅的基础上来修，重点是要放在升起对使的恐惧感。好，这一讲的结论呢，就讨论到说，止禅跟观禅的关系呢，必须要强有力的这个定力，这样子呢，才能够如实的知见五蕴。而且也谈到说，禅那可以作为你在修观禅的时候的一个休息处。好，第4讲，那如何辨识色法？第6页，禅师呢将世界分别观呢作为进入观禅的方法。世界分别观，因为在清道人师的止禅。好，他认为说，这个是如果作为引领这个修禅的心呢，去了解色法。因此呢，它是可以的，是可以适当的作为观的基础。精英道论建议说，止禅者可以从辨识明法开始。那只有说对于纯观禅者呢，才可以从辨识色法下手，或者也可以作为止禅者的另一选项，所以其实是没有差别。好，那接下来就是解释这个各种色句跟色法。基本上呢是阿毗达摩对色法的作为用句的概念，句的升起的概念的一种分析。那亚那莫里在他的那个清道论的这个翻译里面呢，有提到说，色句呢好像不是在三藏看得到， 对，教授认为说他这样子认为的话呢，可能的看法有一些误导。啊，进一步解释说，色具这个词呢，格拉巴这个词呢，虽然在三藏当中没有被看到，但是呢，用具格拉巴 grouping 作为一个分析的方法呢，这种阿毗达摩注释书会用这种方式，这种方式呢，在法集论呢已经看到，也许呢，在发句论呢也有某种的蕴含，所以那个色具呢，肯定符合论藏的精神。虽然他没有说明文在三藏里面出现，然而论藏中呢，这个没有特别指出色法或者新升起的那个持续的时间，几代这个时间。好，那禅师所描述的戒分别观的简要法、详尽法，这个呢是提供了非常完整的指示呢，已经帮助这个禅修者去辨识那个戒分别观。最后呢，就是在专注成功之后呢，就会看到身体变成白色状跟透明。这里就谈到那个英文翻译的问题。禅师将 basada 译为 transparent， 他认为是正确的。好，那这里我们的脚注呢会提到另外一个译法 sensitivity， 是不够精确，因为在如实之见里面的这本书那经常那个编辑者在脚注里面会在小朵的这个解释，你会看到这个解释完之上面的正文里面呢会做一些特别的解说，但是这些解说那个教授都会去看，那会说有些地方也稍微注意一下，所以这个角度说 sensitivity 呢对色法的解释其实是解释而不是翻译。basada 来自于字根 sat， 它的意思呢是心的安定跟安置跟清澈。那这个譬喻呢，就是说一个被搅动的池水呢，然后在安置跟静止之后呢，会变得清澈。所以净色，不同净色跟净色呢，就是清澈跟透明的色法，所以 transparent 是正确的。好，那接着呢，就是当透明体粉碎成色具之后呢，就是观禅的开始。禅师有提到说，色具中的所有色法呢，都必须有被分析跟观察到。第五讲如何辨识明法，这部分很长我们稍微做一个很重要的简要的就好。禅师解释了52种心所法，84种心要被辨识到，用离入心入的过程呢来操作。接着就来介绍明法，要辨识明法的4部分从这个心心所这样子来看。那再来呢是以初禅心跟初禅相应的心所做一个开始，因为呢之前在止禅中呢已经看到有禅支了，所以禅支已经被辨识过了，所以可以从初禅心开始。最后呢就是整个顺序就是先辨识你内在的明法，再辨识外在的明法，再回来辨识内外的色法。色法这时候还继续被辨识再辨识内外在的这个明法，叫做完成第一个观智，所谓的明色限定或明色辨识智。第六讲是缘起法，禅师提到佛陀教4种缘起的修法，这部分呢在清净道论是有被看到的。好，禅师在他的誓愿中呢，经常教导以无碍解道所描述的缘起第5法，跟大因缘经长部的大因缘经的缘起第1法。好，然后接着用3种轮来阐述第5种法，这个呢也是根据无碍解道。接着介绍便是过去的方法，就一点过去，一直到推回到临始塑形新的对象，接着再突破到你前一世。刚才呢，这个教授呢有这里面他的文章没有写，他有特别说这种回溯过去式的方法，对他来讲是蛮新的。不过就他记忆所及呢，就是类似的这种回溯过去式的方法，他好像在1910年，Ananda Metteyya 这位第一位在西方人第一位在东方出家的这个很有名的 Ananda Metteyya 的书里面好像有描述到。 如果是1910年有类似的方式的话呢，他表示说，这种回忆过去式的方法可能会更早，也就是说比帕奥禅师所介绍的更早。这点呢，说不定可以值得大家来进一步讨论。第7讲呢，就是培育观智来透视涅槃。这一讲呢，对教授而言是，他说对我来讲是最困难的，因为他本身并没有修过很多的观禅，因为他很重视的是止禅，教授很重视止禅。好，那所以这部分是很用种那个摘要的方式。首先用四禅或世界分别的净分定做基础，用禅定的智光去辨识各种组合，对刑法去观察它的无常、苦、无我三项。禅师呢特别提到要去观察名色法还有缘起，然后在前2字这边开始我还没有去对照一下，还有谈到3种智不晓得从哪一个开始。他的教授文章里面是说从第一个是思维智是3种智的前2字，所以到底是思维智、生灭智，还是有那个缘起的那个智呢作为先？待我再问他的基础下呢，必须一一的、一个一个的、内在的、外在的去修，这样就完成前3智。后面的更高的智呢，就是所谓的16智的后面的这些智呢，就能够很快就可以被修起来。那禅师提到生灭随观智有2种，一个是依于因缘，依于刹那。在书里面有非常详细的讲到说怎么去修这个，基本上就是先看它的身，名色的身跟它的灭，在一起照见。再来有谈到10种的这个染污，可是10种的染污部分呢，很多部分呢其实是正面的品质，并非是负面，是善法。然后再来照见他们是无常、苦、无我的，用这些方法去克服说这10种染污呢，它会引起你某种的贪着跟欲望，对，用看它的3项呢来克服。接着是培育那个修坏灭随观智。好，看起来这里是需要特别去练习的，而好像不是自然就升起的。所以禅师也不需要去特别的解释说为什么要这么练习。那这个目的是要照见各种刑法的坏灭，同时也照见观智的心本身呢是无常、苦、无我。接着完成5种智之后呢，另外5种智是简要的题，也许是在开示当中的时间不够。接着是随顺智，随顺智跟道的心路有关 ，Magaviti 有关的。那经过3个速行心来达成，接着1个速行心就来到总心智，一个往上，另一个速行心来到道智。当来到道智的时候呢，就是心第一次以无为作为所缘，因此能够灭除很多的烦恼。接着用2到3个速行心而到果智，这样总共完成7个速行心的所谓的道的心路过程。最后是喜察智，让人清楚了解所经验到的以及所需要做的是怎么样。好，最后2讲，那最后2讲呢，大概是来到了禅修的尾声这个时候所讲，刚好时间也是在卫赛节的时候，一个是在卫赛节的时候呢，做完整的一个开示。这完整的开示里面很多的内容，包括佛陀的一生。禅师特别是提到这个涅槃前佛陀最后的教诫，告诉弟子呢之后应该要怎么继续修行。教授认为说这个是很适当的。这个呢，因为也适用于说，在这个禅修营当中呢，禅修结束，禅师离开之后呢，弟子要好好继续的修行，所以作为一种鼓励。那在当中呢，佛陀期许弟子用37道品为修行的实践的法门，很详细的禅师很详细的去解释37道品。那所以这部分呢，正好跟上一讲所接呢，还是可以接起来的。上一讲谈到那个道心跟道士跟果智的时候呢，圣者的觉悟的心呢，就是要怎么维持呢？跟继续修呢，就是修37道品。最后呢，提到是如来宣布说，他3个月之后呢，就要入涅槃这个事情。这个事件呢，在现代的英文著作当中呢，比较少被提到。但是呢，在古代的很多巴利的典籍里面呢，却被视为是非常重要的事件。教授有提供一些出处， 记录在很多的典籍当中。最后一讲呢，是以水洗、布施者、主办者等等的方式来开示，然后很详细的去说明种种布施的方式，以及为什么要做布施，这个是为自己带来利益，也为他人带来各种利益。结语在第12页，第一点，禅师的方法呢是非常的传统，他严格的按照三藏、Tipitaka、注释书、Tathagata、附注 （Subcommentary） 那个 Diga 的等等的说法，所以他认为禅师很传统。第二呢，禅师的说明啊是巨细靡遗，就是非常非常详细。那他说在那个书本里面呢，后面每一讲都有一些问答，在问答当中，他提到说，禅师对图表是没有兴趣的，图表你只用一页就可以表达，但是禅师没有兴趣用图表，为什么呢？因为在一页纸里不足以表达整个修行的体系。禅师说他已经写的那个以缅甸文呢来写了3600页以上的一个著作，我们知道就是那个导向涅槃之道、去向涅槃之道这五大本著作，来解说这整个体系。教授说，我希望呢有人可以翻译，然后让我可以知道更多。我昨天告诉他说，我目前有看到这个出版的第一版的那个英文的翻译已经有。好，总而言之呢，禅修的指导，禅师对禅修的指导是非常非常完善的、完整的。他采用的是非常多不同的方法呢，这是为了让禅修者有所进步，还特别强调呢，对止跟观的每一个阶段都要完全的掌握。所以这种极有耐心的不断的重复，比如说色法一修，修了又再修；名法修了又再修。这种重复、耐心的重复呢，不管是在佛教的理论或者在实修上呢，都非常切合佛陀教法的精神跟核心。这是教授的一个总结。最后他说，在座许多人都比我更了解禅师的教法，如果有不正确的表达禅师的地方呢，请大家原谅。他在演讲当中也有特别提到说，很多的这个禅师所解释的，几乎要用整个阿毗达摩来说明，所以相当困难，要简化的来表达的话相当困难。但是他必须用有限的时间来做他的评论，所以都是一些地方是简化的。好，那这个就是教授对这个如实之间的评析。那我们的时间呢就差不多哈。好，那接着呢，我们可能就休息半小时。那4点的时候回来，那我们请那个罗瑜达班点罗瑜达呢先做一个回应，然后再开放所有的讨论。好，那我们先休息。